Filmmaking with, actually a TV show, we could call it that way, where we will interview directors, producers, actors, according to what we watch from them. Lastly, we watched Devil's Door. So I would like to welcome with us right now Aaron Fradkin, the director of Devil's Door, and Victoria Fratz, the main actress.
Hello.
Hi guys.
So, how are you?
We're doing very well. How are you doing?
Well, we're very good.
So, well, we're going to jump right in it. I've seen that you guys have actually done a couple movies together. Are you like in a relationship or like partner relation?
We are professionally and personally. We are
romantic.
Awesome.
Very
romantic.
Very
romantic.
Well, that makes for a very tight bond that I think it shows in your productions how much you know each other and how much what your skills are, so that you can build on top of that and produce great short films. And you released a lot of short films recently.
We're shooting another one right
now. Yeah, did you want to name some of them, Dylan? You look like you're.
Yeah, I was looking to get their. Yeah, exactly. I was looking to show their channel, so there are a few of the short films that they've published recently. So they released last week ASMR. It's a very good short film if you like horror. Well, Devil's Door, Chain Letter, ASMR, and even Diet are very good horror short films. If you like that, go and check them on their channel, Social House Films. And yeah.
So, anyways, I would like to know, mostly because I'm a huge horror film fan. I love them, wants to make some of them mainly. Where did the idea came from for Devil's Door?
Well, I think so. I went to Catholic grade school, and so Bloody Mary was like very much a thing growing up, and it was go into the girls' bathroom and say it. You won't do it, will you? And so it was very much based in Bloody Mary, because I remember as a kid being terrified and going and doing the whole Bloody Mary, set of actions. And then as an adult, I still think about that and think, it's so disappointing that no demon ever showed up. Nothing really went down. Why don't I change that with, some stories? So we kind of did, it's relatively an homage to Bloody Mary, because there's a set of things that you do. You have to do something in the mirror and recite something.
And you're a fan of like creepy text conversations.
I'm a fan of creepy text conversations. I always find them interesting. So, and I like to do a little fake out for the beginning of a story. I'm always like, it's supposed to just unsettle you before, but it's a fake out. No real danger is really going to happen in that first few moments. And then, Devil's Door just kind of came together. We just kept like bouncing the idea back and forth. It was like Bloody Mary, let's do this, and then you came up with, let's do this in the bathroom, and we'll have this Gavin Brackett's character that she's texting, and we just kept bouncing back and forth until it started to tighten up, and there's the doorway, and
so you wrote the script. You wrote the script, Victoria?
Well, with all of our shorts, I usually take the first crack at concepting the story, and then I'll kick the draft over to Aaron, and Aaron will tighten it up or come up with new ideas based on new editing skills he's been working on. We just try and keep workshopping together.
Yeah, we sort of found a method to the madness. Sometimes like late at night, I'll come up with an idea and then, pitch it.
he used to pitch to me. I'm like,
And then, it's sort of whatever we both agree on is what's, unless there's something that I feel like I have to make, and then I'm just going to drag Victoria along.
Oh, yeah.
But that hasn't happened yet.
So really, it's a collaboration with the both of you working together to really get a story together and create amazing short films. But you've also done a few feature films.
Yeah, and that has, we kind of have the same process, I would say, for both. You know, when we kind of are feeling that itch to create either short form or feature form or just some interesting sketch video, we usually will kind of kick the idea back and forth, and then from there, I think we just kind of try and lean into each of our skills. You know, I'm really obsessed with story and trying to just creep people out or try and do something new. And I've also gotten a little bit into special effects makeup or prop building. So then I try and think about things I can physically create. And then you've been doing such a great job with visual effects, editing skills. So then together we just build.
Okay, yeah, well, that's amazing, actually. Especially if it's always like working well.
Well, I usually, one of us will just say like, yeah, just write it down, you know, kind of let me see a draft.
No, we certainly, because we shoot most of these at home, we have the luxury of sort of cutting something together and then determining if we need to reshoot something or, you know, include like another insert. Because we make all of these for, you know, $10 or less pretty much. You know, we basically are just able to, you know, kind of perfect it to our liking. And that happens on just about every short, where very rarely do we just get everything we need the first night. We'll usually go back and sort of, you know, either relight entirely or just add, you know, one quick pickup shot. And I think that makes it a lot tighter. You know, on feature films, you don't really have that luxury as much.
And Devil's Door was our second most expensive short film to make because the lipstick cost like $9. And we didn't, I didn't find my red lipstick, so he went out and got some. And he was like, lipstick is very expensive.
I've never bought lipstick before. I've never bought any makeup. I was very surprised when I went to the pharmacy and she was like $10. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, we're already over budget. Nice.
We were 3 minutes for 5.
Emilio just got here and he asks, what did I miss? Basically, Emilio, we're just meeting Victoria and Aaron. So did you, was there anything else that you want to tell us about yourselves?
Let's see.
East Coasters.
East Coast.
Involved romantically, professionally.
We have cats.
We have cats.
And then, yeah, I mean, we met each other in an audition, and from there it was like, I never wanted to stop working with him. I just wanted to, what's next? What can we work on next? And
you told us just before that at first you thought he was a big time director, and
the more she got to know me, the more she realized that it wasn't as big of a deal as she thought. But
I'm still very happy.
I like imagine I am a big deal.
Well, it was fun because I went out to the audition and I'd been kind of like a lazy actress. You know, you go to all these, not big time casting calls. I'm talking about like student shorts. I was just trying to get my foot in the door. And so I said, okay, I'm going to go to every audition I get, but first let me look up the director and the creators of each project just to make sure that it's something that I would, you know, wake up for and really go and like be present for. And so I had already looked him up and I thought his portfolio of work was just phenomenal. I remember thinking I would be so lucky to work with him. And so then I got in the room and he was very quiet, kind of off-putting, but I kind of liked it, you know what I mean? And so
it was after 2 days of auditions, and you know, you do your best to be respectful of everybody that comes in, but sometimes you kind of have an idea, you know, pretty quickly as to whether or not they're just right for a role or not.
And I did not get the role.
Yeah.
And I had to slide into his DMs 2 weeks later to see if he would direct my short film. And now we're here at 2 features.
And I was just,
10 short films.
At the end of the day, I was just super impressed by Victoria's like professionalism. And when we first actually met outside of the audition, she, you know, presented a script and an outline and even like sort of a loose
Marketing
budget breakdown.
Budgets. I mean, I'm no half-ass producer.
She had an envelope with all of this information, and it's rare to find someone who's that committed to, you know, details and actually finds the motivation within themselves to put something together. It takes a lot of energy. So yeah.
It's almost the same with me and Dylan. It's just that I don't kiss him at the end of the day.
Well, with all the time that we spend together, Francis, it's just a question of time until we get there.
Oh my god.
Start working together.
Sorry?
How did you guys start working together?
Well, actually, I got out of school in January. Knew already that I wanted to be a director. So looked online, see some posts on Facebook and everything, and he was looking for an assistant director. I hate that job. I just hate it. But I was like, yeah, the project is interesting. I want to work on it, so I'm gonna do it. And so we start talking on the phone, and then we meet for the first time, discuss about the script, and by the end of the meeting, he just said, you know what? Rewrite it, and we'll see what it gives. And he decided to name me the director for it. So we're just like, okay, good. And like, he works hard, I work hard, and it just goes well. So
that's great. It's so nice to have like such a nice connection, and it's great that you went to the job even though it wasn't exactly the job you wanted. I have that same mentality where it's like, I just want to be part of this story or this production, and so you go in and you're just gonna, it might not be this project, but maybe it'll be the next one. At least I got to meet, all of these people on set and have all these new friendships and relationships. It's pretty cool.
You'll probably agree with me, because as a producer, what I look at when I hire people to work with me, or when I look at actors to work in our projects, the most important thing for me is how dedicated they are, and how much they show that they're interested in the project, and how much energy they show that they want to put in the project itself.
I would pick dedication and just a good attitude over, over anything else. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really how we choose who we're going to hire. I think that's even how we selected our last DP for Val, or the latest feature. Our DP, Keelan Carruthers, he was just, you could tell he lived and breathed filmmaking. It wasn't an interview, so to speak, but it was, that kind of like coffee shop meeting. He was telling us about how he just rebuilt some, camera, and he was working with this different lens, and he was just then the two of them were just nerding out over lenses and camera styles, and I was he's our DP, call him immediately.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up shooting part of the movie on film just because he presented that idea, and I haven't shot on actual film since college, so that was exciting, and to be doing that with him at 6:30 in the morning, he still has the energy to go. That's the kind of attitude I admire.
Yeah, 6:30 in the morning, working on film. You need dedication.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
that's after not sleeping that night. So.
Do you want to talk to us a bit about Val itself while we're on the subject?
Sure. Yeah, Val, and for other filmmakers, I think that Val is a really interesting story for its creation, because all of 2019 was kind of like the year of frustration for us. We had written 2 other complete scripts and had some pretty solid inklings for the funding for those feature scripts. And then around the fall of 2019, our investor pulled out. It just something wasn't quite right. It wasn't jiving with him. To this day, we're not really sure what happened, but we looked at each other and had made a commitment to make a movie. Like, we're making another movie as soon as we can. And so we just said, all right, well, why don't we write a story that takes place in one location? And really, it's only between these 2 characters. Let's make it thrilling, because we're really both getting into this sort of like thriller horror genre now. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And from there, we just greenlit. You wrote the first.
I wrote the first draft for the movie.
And then I came in and started writing the second, and from there we just spent all of the holiday season trying to do a little crowdfunding, aka going home for Christmas and talking to our families about our crowdfunding sites, like, you guys check out our link, maybe. And then we were ready to make it at the top of this year. So I was really proud of us in just finding a way to navigate that obstacle of multiple disappointments in 2019. Well, we're gonna start top of the year 2020, like pre-production, ready to go.
And we really lucked out. I mean, we wrapped the entire movie, I think, on March 10th. And at least here in this, the world went into lockdown, I think, like March 14th. So I mean, it was was literally about just 3 or 4 days after we wrapped the entire movie that everything closed down, and we just really lucked out. So then, I was planning on quarantining for a couple months after that anyway, just editing.
To do the editing, yeah.
So, and I'm still doing that. So, yeah.
So
do you know where you'll release it?
Well, once we're done, I don't really foresee festivals, for this one, or if we do, it's going to be a completely different experience. But I think we're just going to, we'll contact some distribution companies that we know and have worked with before.
Because I know one of your past features is on Hulu, right?
So yeah, Electric Love was released on Hulu last year, which was very exciting.
That was our big, we're going to be on Hulu. Oh my God.
Yeah. And so since we've done that once with a romantic comedy, I think horror in general is a lot more marketable. So, practically speaking, at least to start your career, I think it's best that you go into the horror direction. And it's also so much more fun. I think you can really utilize every filmmaking technique in that genre. So it's so much fun to do. And so we basically just, got the funds together and made Val.
Yeah. Well, I really liked what you said when we were kind of figuring out what are we going to be making, and we came up with the nugget of Val, which if anyone's interested, I'm talking all about Val. I should tell you guys what it's even about. We have a criminal on the run who tries to seek refuge hiding out in the woman Val's house, and she has this beautiful mansion. And while he's there, just things slowly start to unravel for him. His reality starts to slowly unravel, and you kind of wonder what's real and what's not real in this house of horrors. And so Val is a very interesting character. She goes through quite the transformation while you're watching, and reality really starts to slowly slip away as you're watching the film. So I'm very excited for Val. It's a lot of fun.
Keep us updated
now
about.
I am.
keep us updated about this, because I think we will do a review of Val as soon as it's out.
Yeah, that would be nice actually. It's and like you described it, and it's actually my type of horror. Right. I love that kind of movie.
That's exactly my flavor too. It's it just keeps you guessing until the very end, and then for us, ending was a big deal, and we'll wait for your review. I'll see what your review is, but I might be biased. I think we got it. I think we got the ending.
Okay, so let's just do one last thing, because we need to get back into the main subject of this interview, which is Devil's Door.
You have one in your room. Look at that.
Did you knock twice?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he didn't knock twice. He was too scared.
You even have the red and the blue lighting scheme in your room. I love it.
It's beautiful.
So, we had one question, which is, what's the favorite reaction you've seen from the fans about Devil's Door?
Oh my God, we've had
really
some fun watching
videos.
reactions. I didn't even know that was a thing when we started making these, that people just do reaction videos.
Oh, but I'm so glad they do. It is so much fun and so gratifying as a filmmaker too, to see someone almost immediately watching something you made. You're like, this is awesome.
There's a couple people that I know, like Ray, who makes a reaction video to just about every short we put out. Mm-hmm. There's Sierra Harris.
She does them as well.
Yeah, they're fun to watch.
And then the guy with the chair, like the cool gamer chair. It's like Player One.
Oh, there's Dan Ex Machina.
Yes.
Yes. See, we know them by name now.
But with we really love watching them. I'll say my favorite one, I don't remember the name of the person who did the reaction, but as the storyteller, because I'm very, very I'm on this never-ending quest to be a great storyteller. This person is reacting to the text-based conversation, and I can tell from their reaction that they think that that's all that this short is going to be, is just a text thing with somebody's at Gavin's house, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there as the writer like, just wait. It's all just a gimmick. But also I don't want to give them spoilers. So I really like seeing when people are kind of falling into my writing trap that I'm luring them there with.
Actually, I think I have one last question before we jump in questions about the movie. It's actually a two-part question, where the first one would be, what director got you into directing, Aaron? And for you, Victor, what actress or actor got you into acting?
I could never in a million years whittle that down to just one person. I think some directors that come to mind are Sam Raimi. I mean, Sam Raimi is he's just such an amazing combination of horror and comedy, which is everything I love in movies. Steven Spielberg, of course, that might be cliche, but he has always been just one of my favorites, who I think completely changed the game of filmmaking. I love Judd Apatow comedies. I love Coen brothers. So, and sort of all of these people I've, just looked up to, admired, and I'm sure in some way I've borrowed, been inspired by them, and subconsciously, put some of their ideas into my own films.
Yeah. And for me, I always want to give someone the exact answer for their question, but for me, it was really just a love of movies, just seeing that you could create a story and then somehow tell it, literally bring it to life, and I can be part of it. I can both be in front of the camera and behind it. That was like a dream. My mind is blown that occupation even exists. And so
just seeing the passion in your eyes when you say that, it's amazing.
Well, thank you very much.
It's not fake. I mean, she jumps out of bed every morning.
I'm we're creating something today. Let's do it. But yeah, I remember being a kid and seeing Edward Scissorhands for the first time, or watching Indiana Jones Last Crusade, which I think is the best, on VHS at my grandma's house for the billionth time. Clue, any of those movies that I just grew up watching and just being could I, is that even an option for me? And really where I came from, it wasn't really an option, because I'm from this small town in Southern Maryland, Lesby, Maryland. And there were no resources, there were really no people who were doing that professionally. And so that was a very distant dream. Once I came out to Los Angeles and I thought, let's try, the worst thing you can do is someone will just say no to you, which he did. I'm just kidding. And then the rest was history. It was well, I also don't need anyone else to say yes to me. I can just create and try my best and create and hopefully get better.
And I think that's something a lot of people stop themselves at, is okay, I don't want to try because I don't want to get rejected. But that's the thing. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
Is that people are going to say no. And you just have to try again and try again and try again until someone says yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, you make it yourself.
Exactly.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that some people, and this is something that I find very deeply sad to see, is that some people like to protect their dream and then therefore never pursue it because they don't want the rejection. But then you never potentially could get the approval or the green light. And so for me, that's when I just say well, the internet is a very vast place of learning and opportunity. Just go out there and make something. You can probably get a yes from your own self if you just work hard enough and keep trying.
Well, that's a great answer. So, okay. So I think we're going to try to ask question without spoiling the movie, because I don't think we have some clips prepared.
I can show some bits of the film. I have nothing prepared of the short film, but I have it open here.
I need the first shot.
Okay, so yeah.
So actually, my first question is actually with the first shot of the movie. Why did you choose to open on that one?
So, I think it sort of accomplishes two things. I like to establish the space just from a very practical filmmaking standpoint. You want to show the audience where this is taking place. And then maybe a not so obvious one is, the whole premise is sort of this door that you walk through. So it made the most sense to sort of start outside and, push the audience through an actual doorway themselves where we're going to stay sort of trapped inside, in a very claustrophobic room for the rest of the movie.
Oh, well, it's exactly the answer I was hoping for. So that's good.
I'm glad you got read. I'm very glad.
So actually, you also answered probably my next question which was why didn't you close on the reverse of that? Like walking out and the door opening and then it's empty.
So really, I mean, in our mind, the movie ended, sort of on that final jump scare or whatever you want to call it. And then we like to do sort of a fun credit sequence, sort of like visual credit sequence, something just more interesting than, white titles over a black screen. So we just sort of kept the camera rolling on this mirror, this empty mirror, where I actually masked out the camera, because if you watch it, there's no reflection of the camera. Yeah. And I mean, I just thought that was a cool effect. And we kind of just wanted to end the movie with a scare and then just go to credits.
And one thing we noticed, let me go to the last shot just to, so that it's the credits. One thing we noticed is that on the mirror, the door is not there anymore. Was that on purpose, or is it something that you just didn't notice?
I forget.
Yeah. Well, we thought about it because I think we had an idea of how those text messages would fall on screen, and it just kind of felt like it would be cleaner with just the messages as opposed to the door there.
Let's say yes. That was on purpose.
Okay, well, it's good. And for those who don't know, we're releasing our critique of this short film tomorrow, and we're mentioning that I think in the critique. Well, and you have the answer. It is on purpose. So our critique is not obsolete. Thanks, guys.
That's like that could also I don't actually remember making a distinct decision on that, but we of course watch everything through, and sometimes we'll notice that's sort of a happy accident, and instead of going back and reshooting, it's just leave it as it is, because that happens actually more than you think. These little happy accidents that just make so much sense with the story sometimes makes it better than you could have even planned.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Actually, you mentioned the jump scare. Was it the choice to see him stand up in the shot before we see him behind her?
So I cut two versions, and in the first version, we did not see him standing up.
Right.
Okay.
And I screened the original cut for Victoria and our friend Wes, and we had shot the demon sort of standing up behind her, but my instinct was not to put it in. I thought it would be way more surprising, but they both commented that it would probably be a lot scarier if you actually saw this creature rise behind her, because then it's coming, and so you feel even more scared for her.
Right.
And I put it in, and it just felt right. And I mean, even watching some reaction videos, you see people start reacting already as they see this creature rise from the darkness. And then at that point, you're just sort of waiting to see all right, how does it attack her? What does it look like? And so that was sort of the thinking on that.
Right.
Okay. Good. And I forgot where I was going with that. Do you have any question, Dylan? So that I can think about it again.
Oh, well, okay, let me go back to our list.
Because we noticed that you did two versions of it, and both are released, right?
Of Devil's Door, we only did one version.
But you might have put the other version in the making of. Did you?
No, I don't think so. Although that someone else ripped it from YouTube and uploaded it themselves.
Okay, because our editor did Actually, I'm mentioning the split screen at some point, and on our review, we watched actually a little bit before the filmmaking and it didn't get the right split screen because it wasn't in the version he watched.
Interesting.
And I shared him your version, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't watch this one." So, so someone probably took it and redid their own version of the editing.
I think a lot of people do that. They'll sort of rip the movies from YouTube and then upload on their own channels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's actually pretty interesting. It's actually something that is nice. I think it's a nice gesture to have someone redo it their own way. It shows that it actually meant something to them. So
I love the engagement, and yeah.
Well, and something while we're on the subject of like ripping and getting re-uploading stuff from other creators, there was a lot of people that talked to me over the years about being scared of publishing on the internet because they don't want their stuff to be stolen by people.
Right.
Do you have any opinions on that? Is it something that you think of, or you don't care?
I'm not as concerned. I think Victoria's probably more aware of that than I am, but I'm not too concerned that people are going to steal anything. You know, everything we put out there has us all over it.
Right.
You know, so I don't see what anybody could do with Devil's Door if it's Victoria's face the entire time. You know, and I know YouTube also has certain, actions you can take if you choose to, have YouTube delete every other video with clips of our video in it. You can do that, I think. But I mean, it doesn't really bother me that much.
Yeah. And,
I would never put a full feature film somewhere with a download link that hasn't been released yet. But beyond that, I feel pretty comfortable with it.
My opinion is similar to yours, whereas I'm always saying to people, if you put something on the internet, someone's gonna steal it. Just assume that, and if people steal what you create, it's because it's great. Sure, something that's not interesting, nobody's gonna try to steal it.
Of course.
So you just need to take it as a compliment.
Sure. I mean, I've actually seen and this was one of the coolest moments is I saw this kid, I think he was from Pakistan or India. He started a YouTube channel and wrote, just inspired by Social House films and started making short horror films inspired by the ones that we put out.
Yeah.
And it's just super cool to see. And I love the support, and I love the fact that people are actually just being inspired to do this on their own, and in watching it, you see some similarities, things that we've done that they're trying out. And I think that's super cool. If anything, it is a compliment. I'm not worried.
Yeah. And I think we should mention right now that today you just hit 5,000 subscribers on your channel.
Yeah, our first video was released, I think, 3 years ago, but we went on a 3-year hiatus right after that, and we only started uploading short horror films about 8 or 9 months ago. Yeah. So it's
Well, congratulations about that.
Yeah, congrats.
We're very excited.
And actually, to finish on the subject of stealing properties on YouTube, I think that's what we're doing, right? We're doing movies to inspire people anyway. So if it, like you said, if it inspires someone and they take your idea and reproduce it, yeah, you just accomplish your mission in some ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Actually, some other question. As a filmmaker, what is at the top of your bucket list right now?
That is a good question. Well, I mean, it's certainly inspiring people to make their own films. I mean, the whole reason why I even got in this filmmaking to begin with is just because I love, entertaining, and I love sort of just, I love seeing the reactions of people, you know, as they watch something that I've put together, and I love, you know, bringing a smile to their face or making them scared or just making them feel something. That's rewarding. And so, you know, I think my bucket list, I think, is more of a selfish one, to sort of outdo myself and, you know, make something that I can look at and be like, I'm super proud of that. You know, it's sort of this abstract journey to make something that I am just as entertained watching as I was entertained watching a Steven Spielberg movie. Who knows if that'll ever happen, but it's a lofty goal.
Well, if you believe in it, it will happen at some point. So.
I was just thinking about this, actually, since we come up with each of these short films. You know, I love most seasons of American Horror Story or The Haunting of Hill House. I love shows like that. And when we create, you know, different monsters, and each monster or creature has its own kind of set of rules and what it does to you and how you invoke it, I would be over the moon. I mean, we're talking bucket list here, to make a series, like a, you know, TV series or whatever, YouTube series, where all of the monsters and creatures we've created are in a bigger storyline. So we have, you know, Smiling Harvey coming in, Bedhead, the Ice Cream Man. You have all of these different characters, monsters interacting with different characters throughout the series. So I'm very excited to like keep brainstorming how that might be a possibility.
Sure.
Yeah,
create your own universe. That's
Exactly.
That's amazing. Yeah,
I love the idea. I really love your idea of like putting all of your monsters in one creation. I think it could be great.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna keep practicing. Every short is like practice and tightening and getting better. And so I think once we have a solid body of, you know, massive list of shorts, we can then consider like, all right, well, what are our options? You know, what can we create, and maybe at an even higher production value,
right?
Or whatever. Yeah.
Well, $10 is a good production value, no?
Like 20.
Yeah, 20
We'll go
bucks.
$20 for these.
If you like what we can do with 10, just wait until we have 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's double the budget. Hey, imagine what we can do with double the budget, Francis.
Yeah. Actually, well, we talked about the feature film that is coming out. Well, that you're doing and will be coming out. And usually that would have been my last question, to actually give you the floor to sponsor your own projects. But if you have anything else that you would like to talk about, the floor is yours.
Well, we're literally in the midst of filming a new short film that I'm wearing the wardrobe for my character, of where I will be possessed.
Mm-hmm.
This is this locket, which looks like just a standard gold locket. Oh no, this is a supernatural possessed locket, which will be making a huge appearance in the upcoming film, which we're shooting probably a little bit more after we hang out with you guys.
Yeah, we got the gear all set up, just waiting.
Hanging out over there. The sets over there.
And
Crafties
then,
and the.
Yeah, and then yeah, with Val, our next, you know, full length movie, I'm guessing that'll probably be released next year sometime. You know, we're still in the edit with that, but yeah, that's sort of where we stand with our projects.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing then. Do you have any other question, Dylan?
Well, I have Emilio that commented that for authors to create a special universe of all of their fictional characters, they really must be like gods to their characters that they have made.
It's true.
It's true. But I mean, I think we're also kind of hard on our characters. I'm like, I expect more from you characters. I need to see more. So I want to have the platform to like tighten them and make them even better, even greater.
And it's important that like there has to be a logic. Like, how do they, first of all, what do the monsters do? What are the rules? And then if we were to ever combine them, how would we do that? How do you make a universe where they're all combined? And so I'm sure it's possible, but you know, everything is like needs to make sense to me.
For sure.
Well, actually, do you have any funny stories of of actually something that would have happened on set while shooting your shorts?
Ooh. So, well, we consistently, because we mentioned our pets at this point, consistently the animals are messing up our shots, messing up. They want to be part of the action, and so the dog is barking. The cats, they are running through shots. They are running away. If we have an open window, they're like, freedom, I'm out of here. And then we have to stop everything and, go chase after them in the middle of the night. That's one.
Yeah, we actually have a laser pen on set with us, just in case the cat runs away, we can just draw her back with the laser pen.
Yeah.
Because if we're in an apartment in Los Angeles, then she could run into the street or something. So
she's very curious.
Yeah. I did one short with a pet, and I actually included the cat in the movie, and it was horrible to shoot that shot. Like, it was almost impossible to do. They either want to be in it or they flee.
What they teach you in film school is don't work with children or animals. Those are the two rules that you have to that they first.
Yeah. My first reflex was to break that rule first session.
with an animal and a kid?
No, there were no kids.
Okay.
No, just a cat, and it was a pain. So never again.
They're always literally just out of frame in any of our short films, even in the finished footage. They're just ever so moments out of frame. Probably cut the shot right before one of them walked into frame, or the dog jumped on my lap or something.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I love them.
Well, it was great having you guys. I'm gonna go watch some more short from you. Obviously, I'll be waiting for Val for next year. That's for sure. And thanks for being here. And hopefully we'll be reviewing your feature, or maybe even another short, and having you again to talk a bit more about your idea behind it.
Absolutely.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank you guys so much for having us. Yeah.
Well, it was super fun having you. And anytime.
Let's do this again. We'll collaborate on something.
Same place, different time.
You're just giving me an idea. We could collaborate on a short film. I don't know how we could do that from a distance like that, but
we actually have an idea for that. We've been working on a way to do something distantly with other creators.
Gotta be possible.
So if you want, Francis, like I said, he's a fan of horror, so we could work something out and try to do a short film with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I would love that.
I've learned that from Linus in Linus Tech Tips. He said that doing deals while you're live obligates people to do the deal with you. So
people are going to follow up on this.
Like, where's that collab?
Yeah, now we have no choice for probably the 4 people watching. I don't know how many are there.
Yeah, we had 82 people that watched the live.
Well,
very
good. So
very much.
It's been a pleasure.
So again, thanks a lot, guys, for being here. Another thing, don't forget the merch. You can get to the link in the description below. Don't forget to check out Social House Films, Devil's Door, and they've released 2 other short films since then, so make sure to look at that. If you haven't already, subscribe and share this video with your friends, and also go to subscribe to Social House Films, and have a great day.